What's up, folks? Vargo with Vargo Beats, back again with another YouTube tutorial. Today what we're going to be going over is very similar to the last tutorial that I put out. And it's going to focus on how to mix your kick and your 808 within a hip-hop beat. So the last tutorial I put out was focused on EQ. Basically what we did was we learned how to boost certain frequencies in the kick and cut those same frequencies in the 808. And I told you in that tutorial that I would be also focusing on other methods. So the method I'm going to be focusing on today, as you can probably see in the title, is sidechaining. And this is a very actually simple method. I've seen a lot of tutorials online that make it a lot harder than it needs to be, and some that are using wrong methods altogether. So I figured it would be helpful for you guys, for me to kind of show you how to do it. Basically, we're going to be using the same as last time, FL Studio, along with free plugins, which is going to be the Fruity Limiter. And it's actually very simple. So we're going to be sidechaining the kick to the 808. And then we're going to be learning how to compress so that it cuts some of the 808 as the kick is hitting, just to clear up some space. So let me go ahead and share my screen with you and let's get started. All right, cool. So basically what I put together here, just within the last hour or two, is a really simple loop for the purposes of showing you how to sidechain. So I kept it simple for a reason. And basically what I have are two loops. I have, of course, a kick, an 808, and I have some hi-hats and a simple clap. So it's all very simple. What I'll do is I'll go ahead and play the loop for you, and then I'll show you the easiest method to sidechain your kick to your 808. Okay, cool. So very simple. I actually kind of like the loop. I may actually use this for a beat in the future, but it's something I just threw together, within the last hour or two. So, all right. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to pull up my my mixer here. As you can see, I already have all of these tracks on on dedicated mixer tracks. You can forget all of these extra stuff. I basically used an existing project to do this. So all we're really going to be paying attention to is like from 10 down to 1. And as you can see, so I have my kick here on mixer track 1. I have my 808 on mixer track 6. And sidechaining is actually very simple. So see a lot of people doing this the wrong way, which is unfortunate. And it's usually on YouTube tutorials. So it makes it even worse because they're kind of spreading wrong information. So what you're going to do is, and a mistake I see made a lot of the time is actually the opposite of what you're supposed to do. So what we're going to do is we're going to go over to mixer track 1, which is our kick. Okay. And then we're going to look over on mixer track 6, which is our 808. So if you can see here, mixer track 6, if you go all the way down to the bottom to this little arrow and you right click it, you're going to get the option to either route to this track, sidechain to this track, or route or sidechain to this track only. What I see a lot of people do on YouTube is route to this track. That's not actually the right way to do it. So we are going to click sidechain to this track. Okay, so whatever mixer track your kick is on, you will select that, and then you will sidechain it to whatever track your 808 is on. Okay, and then we're not going to mess with the volume. We don't need to do that at this point. And then what we're going to do is we're going to go over to the track that your 808 is on. Okay. And then we're going to open up a new slot and we're going to use Fruity Limiter. So if I can find it within all of the plugins I have here. Okay. Yeah. So if you click Fruity Limiter, of course, it'll pull up the plugin here. And there are two options for Fruity Limiter. It is kind of versatile, which I think is kind of interesting, especially for a free plugin. But if you go down to the bottom, you can see where it says either limit or compress. It's going to be your limiter or a compressor. So it's going to be on limiter by default. That's not what we want. We want to go to compressor. Click compressor. Okay. So once you've done that, you're going to just go over to the right under envelope down here where you see curve and you see sidechain. Okay. So where you see sidechain, you're going to click this and you're going to grab it up and it's going to go to mixer track 1. And I can go up and down all I want. It's only going to give me that option because that's the only track I have side chained to this mixer track. Okay. So basically that has completed your side chain, but you're not done, right? So it's not going to do much of anything at this point because what you're going to basically be doing is using this as a compressor with your kick side chained. So I'm going to go ahead and play it now and let you hear it. And then I'm going to show you how to use this compressor so that you can dip your 808 down whenever the kick actually hits. Okay, so as you can see, we have a waveform here, and this is the waveform of the 808. So we are actually going to use this as a compressor. If you don't know about compression, I will have videos coming out in the future about how to use compressors and what all of these terms mean and how to use them effectively. So what we're going to basically be doing is bringing down our threshold a tad bit below where this existing waveform is, right? Because what you're going to be doing is you're going to be compressing this waveform down from where it was. So if you leave your threshold up here, it's not going to really do anything, right? Because you want to compress the existing sound. So you want to bring this threshold down. You could bring it down further. I'm going to bring it down about a quarter of the way to a third of the way down the waveform. And then you're going to go to your ratio. And I like to use a ratio of anywhere between 3 and 4 to 1. So I'm just going to go ahead and use 3.5 to 1 here. And already this is going to start compressing. But over here where it says envelope, this is where you're going to, I guess, use some more advanced compression terminology. And here there is no set formula, right? So there is no template that you can use that's going to be perfect for every sound. You're going to have to play with it. But for my side chains with kicks and 808 specifically, I leave the attack all the way down at the bottom. I don't want the compressor to take any time in attacking. Generally speaking, I'll have the release around halfway, and I'll bring the sustain up a bit. But what I'm going to have to do here is I'm going to have to play with it a bit. So I'm just going to let it run. I'm going to fiddle around with this a bit. Once I get it where I like it, then I will play it, disable it, play the difference, and go through some final steps of raising the gain and things of that nature to make it sit pretty in the mix. Okay. All right, so fairly simple there. What I've done is I've brought the threshold down just a bit. I've kept the ratio, of course, at 3.5. I've raised the knee, and basically, to put it simply, what the knee is doing is it's going to be how much your compressor compresses. It's basically going to shape the waveform, to put it simply, without going into too much technical detail there. I've put the release down a bit further and lowered the sustain a bit. And basically, like I said, there is no template, there is no formula. You have to play this by ear. But my goal here is to show you the technique in getting to this point. And then from there, you're just, kind of going to have to practice. So I will basically disable this. Then I will play it with the sidechain in effect. And then I'll show you how to play with the gain, because what we've done here is we've lowered the volume of the 808 as a whole, and obviously if it's already where it's at in the mix or where you want it in the mix, then you're gonna have to change that. So I'll go ahead and play it, disable it, play it again, and show you kind of how it sounds. See how it sounds like there's more space for the 808 whenever the kick hits specifically. Okay, so let me go ahead and disable the limiter, and I'll play it for you now, and then I'll bring it back in. And basically what you're going to be looking for with the sidechain sound is for the 808 sound to get quieter as the kick hits and then come back up to its previous volume. So it's just carving out space for that kick. So this is with the limiter off. See, it's a very flat sound. It sounds kind of muddled with the kick. Okay, I'm going to bring the limiter back in. See how the space is carved out? It sounds much cleaner. Okay. So that's basically how you do it. As you can tell, whenever I turn the limiter back on, the 808 as a whole is more quiet. And basically the reason for that is because I have added a compressor to it, and I haven't added any gain to make up for the difference. So I haven't added any makeup gain. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to bring these sounds back in, and then I'm going to raise the gain so that it matches where it was before. And that way, because basically your goal is not to change necessarily the sound of the 808 as a whole. Your goal is to basically just, with the side chain, carve out the space for that kick to hit. And then right when the kick hits, you want the 808 to come back in, right? So if these are equal sounds, when the kick hits, you want your 808, to bump down. And yeah, so that's kind of the goal here. So I'm going to bring these sounds back in, and let's see if we can match it back up. All right, so that is close enough for the sake of this tutorial, just so I don't have you here all day. So what I'm going to do, bring these sounds back in, play it without, and then bring it back in, and then that'll be the end of the tutorial. Okay, so that'll do it. Look, it's very simple, super simple process. Basically, you are sidechaining the kick to the 808, then you add a limiter, then you change that limiter to a compressor, and then you toy with it from there to help dip that sound down. So I really do hope this video was helpful for you. I am going to make another video on how to use straight compression to mix your kicks and your 808s, and I also have a whole big Google Doc that I've been putting together on all of the tutorials that I can think of making. But if you can think of anything, don't hesitate to leave a comment. If you could like and subscribe to the channel, that'd be greatly appreciated. I think I have about 3K subscribers at this point, but as I'm continuing to make these videos, it'd be really nice to both grow my channel and learn what it is that you all need help with. And then hopefully that'll give me some new ideas as well. So my goal is to put out at least 2 or 3 videos a week, hopefully more than that. But that'd be my goal for an average week. So, if you could like, subscribe, comment, that would be greatly appreciated. And yeah, thanks for stopping by.